7 places where secretly wealthy people love to shop. I saw a guy driving a 2008 Honda pull into Costco last Saturday. Thought he was broke. Found out later he's worth $6 million. That's when I realized, wealthy people don't shop where you think they do. You know where fake wealthy people shop? Neiman Marcus, Gucci, Saks Fifth Avenue, all on credit cards they're struggling to pay off. You know where real wealthy people shop? I'm about to tell you 7 places, and you'll think I'm lying about at least 3 of them. The richest person I know buys his clothes at Costco and his furniture at estate sales. Net worth, $8 million. Looks like he's barely getting by. Actually, just understand something about value that fake wealthy people never learn. Today I'm revealing 7 places secretly wealthy people love to shop, places so unglamorous that people pretending to be rich would be mortified to be seen there. If you want to shop like actual millionaires instead of Instagram millionaires, smash subscribe and comment value over status right now. Stick to the end, because place number 7, it's where they get brand name quality for half price. Because when I tell you the first place, you're gonna think I've lost my mind. Place number 1. Costco Sam's Club, the bulk value warehouse. Here's the first place, and when I tell you, you're gonna think I'm absolutely insane. But stay with me. Costco. That's right, the warehouse with the $1.50 hot dogs and giant bottles of ketchup. The place where everything comes in quantities large enough to supply a small army. Broke people think Costco is for poor people who can't afford regular prices. Meanwhile, millionaires are filling shopping carts there every single week. Let me blow your mind for a second. I saw a guy pull up in a 2008 Honda Civic, and I thought he was struggling financially. Followed him into Costco, not literally. That would be weird, but noticed him there, buying toilet paper in bulk, Kirkland jeans and rotisserie chicken. Ran into him later at a business event. Net worth? $6 million. He shops at Costco every Saturday morning like clockwork. Here's what wealthy people understand that fake wealthy people don't. Quality at Costco is actually high. Kirkland Signature, that's Costco's brand, is often made by the same premium manufacturers as name brands. Same factory, different label, half the price. You're not sacrificing quality. You're just refusing to pay the status tax for a fancy logo. The math is stupid simple. Save 30–50% on everyday items. That's $100 a month, conservative, $1,200 a year. Invest that at 10% returns for 20 years? That's $76,000 from shopping at Costco instead of Target. That's not chump change. That's a down payment on a house. That's a college fund. That's real money. Warren Buffett, literally one of the richest humans alive, shops at regular stores, not luxury boutiques. Jewish wisdom says, don't despise small savings, they compound. Proverbs talks about the wise storing up resources. This isn't new. Wealthy people have always understood that small savings multiplied by time equals massive wealth. Here's the humor that makes this obvious. You're at Whole Foods paying $8 for a container of organic strawberries, feeling sophisticated and health conscious. They're at Costco buying 3 times the quantity of the same organic strawberries, same USDA certification, same quality, for $6 total. You paid 400% more per pound. For what? So you could walk out with a fancy shopping bag? Congratulations on your expensive ego. I know a tech executive worth $10 million. Costco member for 20 years straight. Buys everything there. Toilet paper, protein bars, jeans, electronics, olive oil, everything. Someone asked him why he doesn't shop somewhere nicer. He looked genuinely confused. Why would I pay double somewhere else just to feel fancy while I'm shopping? That's the dumbest waste of money I can imagine. That's how people stay broke. That's the psychology right there. Fake wealthy need branded shopping bags and pretty stores to prove they're shopping at the right places. The real wealthy don't care who sees them pushing a giant cart through a warehouse. They're too busy getting rich. But that's just the obvious part. What I'm about to reveal next is where wealthy people buy actual luxury goods. Yes, designer handbags and Rolex watches for 70% off retail, and fake wealthy people would literally rather die than be seen there. Place number 2, high-end consignment and second-hand luxury shops. Alright, here's where it gets really interesting. You want to know where wealthy people buy their designer handbags, their Rolex watches, their Chanel jackets? Not the boutique on Fifth Avenue. They're shopping second-hand. And they're not embarrassed about it at all. Let me be clear. Broke people buy brand new luxury items to look rich. Wealthy people buy pre-owned luxury items to stay rich. There's a massive difference. The Real. Vestiaire Collective, Fashion File, high-end local consignment shops. These places sell authenticated luxury goods at 50 to 80% off retail. Same Hermes bag, same Rolex watch, same Gucci loafers. Just pre-owned, often barely worn, sometimes never worn, tags still attached. Someone bought it, realized they couldn't actually afford it, and sold it immediately. Here's the math that should wake you up. A Chanel Classic flat bag retails for $9,000 new. The same bag, authenticated and in excellent condition on the Real, to $5,500. You save $3,500. The bag functions identically, opens the same way, holds your stuff the same way, signals the same status if that's what you care about. But you kept $3,500 to invest. Marcus Aurelius wrote about avoiding the vanity of new things. Jewish tradition values quality over newness. A well-made used item beats a poorly made new one. Proverb says, a wise person considers the cost. This is that wisdom in action. The bag works. Why pay double? Here's the humor that reveals everything. You're at the Gucci store financing a $3,000 handbag on a payment plan, making monthly payments for 2 years, paying interest on a depreciating asset. They're on the Real buying the exact same bag, authenticated by experts, barely used, for $1,200 cash. Same bag. You paid $1,800 more, plus interest, for the privilege of saying you bought it new from the store. Was it worth it? Your credit card statement says no. I know a woman worth $4 million. Her entire designer wardrobe, and I mean entire, came from consignment shops. Hermes scarves, Chanel suits, Louboutin shoes, everything authenticated. Everything immaculate condition. Why would I pay $2,500 for a bag brand new when I can get the same one, perfect condition, for $900, she said. The math is insulting. I'd rather invest the $1,600 difference. That's how you actually get rich. The nuance here is critical. They're not settling for secondhand. They're being strategic. The bag doesn't know if you bought it new or used. It works exactly the same. And reputable consignment sites authenticate everything. You're actually safer buying from them than some boutiques where fakes occasionally slip through. New is for people who need to prove something to strangers. Pre-owned is for people who understand value and don't care about impressing the salesperson. And speaking of places fake wealthy would never go, this next one is where real wealthy people find treasures worth thousands of dollars for absolute pennies, and it involves shopping in dead people's houses. Place number 3, estate sales and auctions. Okay, this one makes people uncomfortable, but wealthy people don't care about comfort. They care about value. Estate sales. Yes, I'm talking about going to houses where elderly people died or downsized and buying their stuff. And before you say that's morbid or that's weird, let me show you the math that'll change your mind. When wealthy elderly people pass away or move to assisted living, their entire estates get liquidated. And I'm not talking about broke people's estates. I'm talking about people who furnished their homes in the 1950s through the 1980s, when furniture was actually made to last. Solid wood. Real craftsmanship, built to survive generations. Not IKEA particle board held together with prayers and those little Allen wrenches that always go missing. High-quality furniture at estate sales goes for 10 to 20% of retail value. A solid walnut dining table that would cost $4,000 new? $400 at an estate sale. Real Persian rugs, not synthetic knockoffs from HomeGoods. Le Creuset cookware for $20 instead of $300. Professional-grade tools barely used. First edition books, vintage art that actually appreciates. All of it is priced to sell fast. Here's the contrast that makes this click. You're at West Elm, financing a $2,000 couch made of engineered wood and polyester that'll start sagging in 3 years and be in a landfill in 5. They're at an estate sale on Saturday morning, buying a solid oak mid-century credenza from 1965 for $350 that will last another 60 years and is already appreciating in value as vintage. Your couch depreciates to $0. Their credenza appreciates to $800. But sure, yours matches your Instagram aesthetic, so there's that. Benjamin Franklin furnished his home with estate items, quality at a discount. Jewish tradition teaches valuing what lasts over what's new. Proverbs talks about the inheritance of the wise, and literally, that inheritance ends up at estate sales where smart people buy it. I know an investor who furnished his entire 3,000 square foot home from estate sales over 2 years. Spent $8,000 total. Every single piece is solid wood, quality craftsmanship, built to last. An appraiser valued his furniture collection at $45,000 retail replacement. I have better furniture than people who spent $100,000 at Restoration Hardware, financing everything, he said. And mine is paid off and appreciating. You find estate sales on estatesales.net or local listings. They happen Saturday mornings. Show up early. Bring cash. Look for solid wood. If you knock on it and it sounds hollow, it's particle board. Walk away. If it sounds solid and weighs a ton, that's real wood. Buy it. Quality reveals itself when you actually touch it, lift it, and examine it. Rich people's old furniture beats poor people's new furniture every single time. That's not snobbery. That's physics. Wait, there's something you need to pay attention to if you don't want to waste money. Because this next place, most people have never even thought about shopping at. But it's where smart, wealthy people buy equipment that lasts literally forever. Place number 4, restaurant supply stores. Here's a place most people have never even considered shopping at, and it's honestly insane because it's open to the public, and the deals are ridiculous. Restaurant supply stores. The places where actual restaurants buy their equipment. And here's what most people don't know. You can walk right in. You don't need a business license. You don't need to prove you own a restaurant. They're open to anyone. And the stuff they sell is built to survive commercial kitchens, meaning it's basically indestructible. Think about it. A restaurant pot gets used 50 times a day, every single day, for years. Washed in industrial dishwashers. Banged around by stressed line cooks. Exposed to extreme heat constantly. If it survives that, your home kitchen, where you cook dinner 4 times a week, that pot will outlive you. Consumer-grade kitchen stuff from Target or Williams-Sonoma, designed to look pretty, break within a few years, and get replaced. That's the business model. Commercial-grade equipment, designed to never break, ever. Because restaurants can't afford downtime when a pan fails during dinner rush. Here's the pricing that should make you angry. A commercial-grade stainless steel pot at a restaurant supply store, $40. The equivalent at Williams-Sonoma with fancy packaging and a French-sounding brand name, $180. Same metal. Same construction. Yours lasts just as long. You paid $140 extra for marketing in a pretty box you threw away immediately. Stoic philosophy teaches utility over appearance. Jewish wisdom values tools that serve their purpose without ego. That's restaurant supply stores in a nutshell. Ugly packaging, zero marketing, just functional, indestructible equipment at honest prices. Here's the humor. You bought a $200 chef's knife at Williams-Sonoma that came in a beautiful wooden box you'll never use again. They bought a better knife, literally the same knife professional chefs use, at Restaurant Supply for $40 with zero packaging. Yours looks pretty on Instagram for one post. Their cuts are better and will last 30 years. But hey, your box was nice for the 3 seconds before you threw it away. I know a doctor worth $3 million who furnished his entire kitchen from Restaurant Supply. And a $1,500 total for equipment that would cost $8,000 at consumer stores. I use the exact same pots and pans they use in Michelin star restaurants, he said. Each pan cost me $60. People pay $300 at fancy stores for objectively worse quality. The math is insulting. Industrial shelving. professional knives, heavy-duty storage containers, commercial cutting boards, all better quality, all cheaper, all lasting literally forever. Find your local restaurant supply store. Walk through once. Compare prices to Container Store or Williams-Sonoma. Your mind will explode. Buy what professionals use, not what commercials sell to amateurs. But that's just the surface. What's behind it is what will startle people. Because this next place wealthy people shop is literally free, and it holds more knowledge and value than most $30 book sections at Barnes & Noble. Place number 5. Library sales and used bookstores. Here's the place wealthy people love that costs almost nothing, and it's absolutely packed with more value than any retail bookstore you've ever walked into. Library sales and used bookstores. Places where hardcover books cost $1 to $3 each, where a book that's $28 brand new at Barnes & Noble is $2 at a library sale. Same words, same knowledge, same author, different price tag. Most people spend $30 on a brand new hardcover they'll read once and put on a shelf to collect dust. Wealthy people spend $30 and walk out with 15 books. Same budget, 15 times the knowledge. The math isn't even close. Here's what's hilarious about this. The knowledge inside a book doesn't change based on the condition. Benjamin Graham's The Intelligent Investor works exactly the same whether you paid $35 for the new edition or $3 for the 1985 edition at a used bookstore. The compound interest formulas don't care about publication year. The investment strategies didn't suddenly stop working because the book is 30 years old. Warren Buffett said, "Price is what you pay, value is what you get." That applies to books more than anything. Jewish tradition values ancient texts. They study Torah from books hundreds of years old because the wisdom doesn't expire. Marcus Aurelius read texts that were already ancient in his time. Knowledge is timeless. Packaging is temporary. Here's the contrast. You're paying $28 for a business book on Amazon, hardcover, latest edition, pristine condition. You'll read it once, maybe highlight a few passages, put it on your shelf, and never touch it again. They're at a library sale buying the same book for $2 and 9 others for $18 total. Same knowledge. You paid 14 times more per book. For what? So your bookshelf looks more impressive to guests who don't actually care? I know an investor worth $12 million. His home library has over 2,000 books. I've spent maybe $4,000 total over 20 years, he said. Almost everything is used. Library sales, used bookstores, estate sales. The knowledge doesn't depreciate with the cover condition. I'd rather own 2,000 read books than 200 unread pretty ones. And here's the bonus. Some people find first editions at library sales for $5 that later become worth $500. Not because they were looking for investment, but because they were looking for knowledge and stumbled into treasure. Find your local library's annual book sale. They happen once or twice a year. Bring $20. Buy 10 books you've been wanting to read. The total cost is less than one new hardcover. You just 10x'd your knowledge budget. Knowledge over display. Content over packaging. Read more, spend less. Library sales or new books? Where do you buy yours? Drop a comment. But speaking of finding deals, this next place is where wealthy people shop for the biggest purchases of their lives. Furniture, equipment, even cars. And most people would never think to look here. Place number 6. Online marketplaces for specific high-value items. Here's where wealthy people find deals that make broke people's heads explode. And it's places most people think are sketchy or beneath them. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp, eBay. Online marketplaces where regular people sell their stuff to other regular people. And wealthy people absolutely love these places for specific high-value items. Here's what they're buying. $2,000 Peloton bikes that someone used exactly 5 times before realizing they hate exercise, selling for $800. Solid wood furniture from people who are moving and can't take it with them, 70% off retail. Professional power tools from contractors upgrading their equipment. Office furniture from businesses that closed. Appliances from kitchen remodels that are perfectly functional but don't match the new aesthetic. These aren't broken items. These are impulse purchases people made, barely used, and are now desperately trying to unload. And wealthy people are there, cash in hand, ready to benefit from other people's poor financial decisions. Here's the math. Someone bought a Peloton for $2,000 brand new because they got caught up in the marketing hype. Used it 5 times. Realized they prefer running outside. Now they need that $2,000 back because they can't afford the monthly subscription they didn't read the fine print about. You buy it for $700. Same bike, same function. You save $1,300. They paid the new tax and the impulse purchase tax. You waited, showed up with cash, and got an essentially new bike for 1/3 of retail. Proverbs talks about the wise person seeking good counsel, even from strangers with good deals. Jewish marketplace tradition understood person-to-person transactions. Before modern retail existed, all wealthy people bought and sold this way. It's not beneath anyone. It's actually how commerce worked for thousands of years. Here's the humor that reveals the pattern. You're on the Peloton website, financing $1,500 over 24 months, paying interest, checking your credit score nervously. They're on Facebook Marketplace buying the identical bike from someone's garage for $600 cash. They'll have it set up and working out tonight. You'll be making payments for 2 years. Same bike. You paid $900 more, plus interest. But hey, yours came with fancy packaging you threw away immediately. I know a real estate investor worth $8 million. He furnished 12 rental properties entirely from Facebook Marketplace and estate sales. $2,000 per unit on furniture, he said. Renters don't care if it's new. They care if it works and looks decent. Same furniture, new, $8,000. I saved $6,000 per property. That's $72,000 total. That's a down payment on another property. That's how you actually build wealth. New is a feeling you pay extra for. Functional is what actually matters. Smart, wealthy people stopped paying for feelings decades ago. Now, and it's in the next section, that many people make mistakes without even knowing it. Because this final place is where wealthy people get brand name quality for half price by knowing one simple trick about how retail actually works. Place number 7. Manufacturer direct outlet stores. Here's the final place, and you need to understand something important. I'm not talking about those tourist outlet malls off the highway. Those are traps designed to make you think you're getting deals while you're actually buying lower quality outlet-specific products. I'm talking about actual factory outlets and direct-to-consumer brands that cut out the middleman entirely. Most people shop at regular retail stores. They pay a 50 to 100% markup. That's not an exaggeration. That's actually how retail works. A couch that costs the furniture store $800 to buy from the manufacturer gets sold to you for $2,500. You're paying $1,700 for the privilege of shopping in a pretty showroom with a commissioned salesperson and free water bottles. Wealthy people figured this out decades ago. They buy direct from manufacturers when possible. North Carolina has massive furniture manufacturing hubs, entire outlet stores where you buy from the actual factories that make the furniture. Same exact pieces that end up at Pottery Barn and Crate and Barrel. Half the price, because there's no middleman taking a cut. Jewish merchants historically bought direct from the source, cut out every middleman possible. Proverbs says, "The diligent find opportunities others miss." That's this in action. Historically, wealthy people understood supply chains and eliminated every markup they could. Here's the math that should make you reconsider everything. A living room set at Pottery Barn costs $8,000. Drive to North Carolina, buy from the factory outlet that manufactures for Pottery Barn. Same furniture, $3,200. You saved $4,800. That's 2 round-trip plane tickets to Europe. That's a used car. That's a semester of community college. That's real money you just kept instead of giving to a retail middleman. Online direct-to-consumer brands do the same thing. Warby Parker glasses, $95 instead of $400 at LensCrafters. Same quality lenses, same frames, no retail markup. Casper mattresses are sold online, cutting out mattress stores with their 200% markups. Same product, different distribution model, massively different price. Here's the humor. You're buying a couch at a furniture store for $3,000 that cost them $900 to acquire. They're driving to North Carolina for a weekend, buying directly from the factory for $1,200 and saving $1,800 while having a fun road trip. You paid an extra $1,800 to avoid a 6-hour drive. Was that drive worth $300 per hour to you? Because that's what you paid to avoid it. I know a couple who made that North Carolina trip, bought their entire home's furniture, $15,000 total. Same furniture in retail stores, $45,000. We saved $30,000 and had a great weekend, they said. That's a car. That's 3 years of travel. Why wouldn't we do that? Every middleman takes a cut. Wealthy people cut out every middleman they can. Which place surprised you most? Comment the number 1 to 7. Because what I'm about to tell you is something most people regret not understanding their entire lives. Remember the guy in the 2008 Honda at Costco? That's real wealth. The guy financing the BMW shopping at Gucci on credit? That's fake wealth performing for strangers. 7 places. Costco, consignment luxury shops, estate sales, restaurant supply stores, library sales, online marketplaces, factory outlets. None of them is glamorous. All of them are strategic. That's the entire point. Real wealth shops for value, not status. Quality that lasts, not brands that impress. They understand price per use, not price per Instagram post. Here's the math. Shop like fake wealthy, spend $50,000 annually on status and finance most of it. Shop like a real wealthy person, spend $25,000 on strategic purchases, all cash. Save and invest the difference. That's $650,000 in 20 years. This week, visit one of these 7 places. Compare prices. Calculate your annual savings. Which place are you trying first? Comment 1 to 7. Hit subscribe because next week I'm revealing what wealthy people actually buy at these places that broke people completely overlook. Status is expensive and temporary. Value is affordable and permanent. You'll never catch fake wealthy at Costco. That's exactly how you know where real wealth shops.